Welcome everyone to Dragon Quest FM, where we talk about and obsess over Dragon Quest. I'm Austin,
I'm BJ.
and this week it's our second episode ever for our Game of the Week series. One of the early games we wanted to talk about was the old Super Mario Brothers plus Duck Hunt
Yep.
game that released on the NES way back when in the 80s. Um, it was the first video game I ever played.
Really, was it? You didn't play any Atari games or anything before it?
Mm-mm. No,
See,
we never had Atari, and like my uncles, aunts, or like older
okay.
people that might have had systems did not have an Atari. No.
I had an older cousin who had an Atari 2600, and he gave me that when I was 2 years old, when I really wanted a Nintendo and we couldn't afford it. So he gave me a literal shoebox full of Atari games and an Atari. So I
hmm
played that first, but really wanted the Nintendo and didn't get it until a year later or so.
So my first console was the Super Nintendo, but
Okay.
my grandmother, who lived really close to us, she had a regular Nintendo, and what happened
Oh, I didn't know
was
that.
Yeah, what happened was my uncle Mickey, my mom's youngest brother, he was like the baby of the family.
Right.
And so he still lived at home and he got a Nintendo. And then when he went away to like college, he didn't take the Nintendo with him and just
Okay.
left it there. And it kind of became like my grandmother's. And
Right.
so all the grandkids grew up playing it. And like Super Mario was the like first video game probably for all of us. There's
Yeah.
like nine of us grandkids on that side of the family, I think.
Right.
Like nine or ten grandkids, and all of us. That was our first video game. Like even the
Nice.
kids who weren't born until like
Much
96,
later,
ninety
like that was
seven.
still the
Yeah.
one.
And that was just like a thing is you came over to grandmama's house and you played Mario.
All
And
right.
so I grew up playing that until I was older, and we got a Super Nintendo
Yeah.
1 year, and so I have a lot of very fond memories of Super Mario
Uh-huh.
Brothers, but also Duck Hunt. I mean, we would play Duck Hunt a lot, especially when we were like all together, like at family,
Yeah.
like holidays or other family gatherings. I can remember that the NES for the most part back then was kept in my grandmother's basement.
hmm
And like she has a
Okay.
nice basement. It's like carpeted and like,
Okay, yeah,
there's
so a
bathroom,
finished
kitchen.
basement,
Yeah.
not a creepy axe murderer basement.
Yeah, and so it's like, so we would go down there because that's where a lot of toys would be kept,
Right.
and we would just play like Duck Hunt, and the dog, does his little laugh at you, right? For those of you who
Yeah.
don't know, if like when you mess up, he like pops back up, he's like, he
Man, my
kind of
dad
laughs at you.
hated that dog. My
Yeah,
dad
we,
hated and cussed that dog so much. It was
yeah,
hilarious. And I was little like at this point, so it was so funny now looking back.
it's the most obnoxious thing still to this day, I think, that any video game does. And we would sit there and like try to shoot the dog, and it does like
Oh
the
yeah.
blow, 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 and it like shows up on there like you're
Yep.
shooting it, but he doesn't react to it at all. We would sit there and just like shoot the dog because we're like, I hate you, dog. Like
Yep.
for the most part, we would rather shoot the dog than the
And
ducks.
the ducks. Yep.
Um, I did want to ask though, did you have the gray gun or the orange gun?
I was going to ask you the same thing. I had the gray gun. When we got ours, it was, I don't remember if it was 85 or 86 when we got ours, but so I was like 2 or 3 years old and we got it, but we had the gray gun.
Mhm,
It was the only game we had for a long time, and we had the whole set. Like when video games came with sets and included everything you needed,
mhm,
back before everything got separated, where you got the Nintendo console, you got two controllers and the gun.
mhm.
The only peripheral at the time that it didn't come with was Rob the robot. And but yeah, we I had the gray gun. What about you?
Okay, so I have the gray gun now because my cousin gifted me some like old Nintendo things, and
Yeah.
when he gifted me like the NES system and controller, it has
Uh
the gray gun. But growing up, the one we always had was the orange one.
okay.
Um, so I wondered a while back what the difference was
Right. That was what I
in
was going
them.
to ask. Like, of all the stuff that I've ever looked up and know about video games, I've never, ever looked up why there was a gray gun and an orange gun, and which one like came first or predicated the other one.
Okay, so I have an answer for you and anybody else listening. And it's been a while since I've looked this up, so I hope I'm getting it all right. But essentially, it originally launched with the gray one. So like
Yep.
85-ish, it
Hmm.
launched with the gray one. And then in the late 80s, the US passed that law that toy guns had to look like toys. And so you did
Oh
that by
yeah,
putting like I
the
had rifle,
orange
yeah, like I
like
had
like
toy rifles growing up that had the little orange at the tip, to
bright
show it was a
tab at the
toy.
tip of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so because of that, Nintendo in like 88, 89 started making it with the orange gun instead. And
Oh,
so apparently when Mickey got this, like that was when it was after the orange gun had already been introduced because that's the one we
right.
have. Um
Now I have the
so
orange gun today.
okay,
Like
so
I
we
don't remember.
switched. We started with one, but then we ended up with the
Yeah,
opposite.
when I ended up buying another one, I think I can't remember if it's my Nintendo, the one I have in there. I might have two NESs in the storage room, but when I rebought one for my dad when ours was messing up more,
Mhm.
it came with the orange gun. Whenever I bought a replacement for my dad years and years ago, so that's the one I know I still have in there, but I'm 70% certain that the gray one is around there somewhere as well. But I know for a fact I have the orange one.
Yeah. I was gonna bring all my stuff out to show everybody, kind of like I did
Right.
with Pokemon last week, but it's like in a really hard to reach spot in the closet,
Yep.
and I was like, man, I'm gonna have to pull out like 5 bins full of Star
Yep.
Wars toys and like then like move like a little bookcase full of
Yep.
manga around and then get out all the old like video game systems that I've stored. And I just didn't want to go
That's the
through all
same with
that this
me. It's
morning.
in the storage room just across the hall there, where it's under so many boxes. I'd have to dig everything out. But it's one of those things like the NES and Mario and Duck Hunt specifically, like this combo cartridge that had both games on it is such a fundamental part of who I am as a person, I guess at
Mhm.
this point. There's no way I couldn't still have it. Like I have to have this somewhere in my home, and like it's there for sure. Like I can't get rid of
So I want to mostly talk about Super Mario Brothers because that's where I spent most of my time. And I have a feeling it's where you spent most
it.
of
Mm-hmm.
your time because Duck Hunt was fun, but it wasn't the thing that I feel like most people played
Yeah.
when you had that combo cartridge.
Now
And
my
so,
parents played Duck Hunt a lot. They had overnight competitions with one another for high
oh my gosh,
scores that I
wow,
would wake up and play and see like their new high scores, where my dad would keep up playing after my mom went to bed and try to beat her score. And it was hilarious when she would wake up and see them and get mad at him because she didn't have the extra time to play, like he had not slept to do it.
yeah.
But for me, yeah, we played Duck Hunt a lot as a family. But for me, it was Mario Brothers, with Super Mario Bros. When the actual like sitting down to play.
Yeah, and I can remember being a kid and like the first level, 1-1. I can remember what like a rite of passage it was when I managed to get through that level for the first time, or
Right.
like and then when like my younger brother got through the level for the first time, and then like our
Yep.
younger cousins, like I'm one of the oldest. I have one cousin on that
Right.
side of the family that's older than me, and he's less than a year older. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
like so pretty much everybody is under me on that side of the family. And we would so anyway, so I have like all these memories of like watching, all these different
Yep.
kids play through it and get that. And not everybody could save the princess. Not everybody got through the whole game.
Mm-mm.
And
And
that
there
was
was no
like,
saving for those of you who
oh,
don't
right.
reckon who weren't there. If you weren't there, like there was no saving in the very original Super Mario Brothers. Like there were no passwords. There was nothing. You did it. It was all or nothing.
Yeah, well, there were shortcuts in the
There were
games that you could
shortcuts. There were warp
take.
zones, but
Yeah,
you still couldn't like save your progress in any way other than that.
and I can remember taking like a lot of those shortcuts. Like we would have them
Oh
memorized,
yeah.
and it was like you would almost like speed run it. It was like I don't even know if speed running was a thing back then. It
I don't
definitely
think
wasn't
so.
something that we talked about, but that's essentially what we did is we'd speed run it and we
Yeah.
would like get through. I think it's in the second world in like 1-2. You jump over and
You
then you
jump over
take
the
it,
top of it, you
and it
go
takes
down,
you.
then you take like World 4, then there's another warp
Yep.
zone in World 4, whichever I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, and I think it takes you to like 6, and then in like 6-1 or 6-2, there's the one that takes you to like eight
To like
one, and then
8-1. Yep.
yeah, there's like this whole thing. And so like we had that all memorized back in the day. And something that I was never able to do, and I've never tried to go back as an adult, but my uncle Mickey did it like a handful of times when we were growing up, and we thought he was so cool. Is there was like the other, he called it like the other dimension or like the secret dimension,
Yeah.
I think is what he called it. Have you ever done this?
I don't think so. This doesn't
Okay,
seem familiar at all.
so it's where you go to, I think it's also at the end of like the 1-2 level, but I could be confusing it. You go past, like completely past everything, and you break all the bricks but one, and then you have to
I
hit
have.
the brick and you have to fall into it just the right way. And it's super
Yeah.
hard to fall into it just the right way. And if you fall into it just the right way instead of to your death, you end up in this like secret dimension where everything looks weirder and it's much harder.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of
I'd
like this
forgotten about that.
And so it's kind of like the secret. And so, like, and I'm sure, because back then it's like, I mean, the internet wasn't really a thing. And so it's
Uh-uh.
not like everybody kind of, so I don't know for a fact. I'm calling it Secret Dimension, and people listening are like, Austin, that's actually called blah,
That's
blah, blah.
so and
But
so,
like,
yeah.
it's like one of those things where it's like, I feel like every family that knew about it probably had their own like term for it. And so we
Hmm.
call it the Secret Dimension. And I can remember like, the very first time, like my cousin Wesley, he's the one that's a little bit older than me, and I were
Right.
playing the game. Mickey happened to be there, and we're like, "Hey, can you show us the secret dimension?" And Mickey did it, and we thought it was like the coolest thing. And like still, like thinking about it today, I'm like, man, that was like a really cool thing that happened. It was just like
Yeah.
we didn't know that that kind of thing existed in video games, and so it was just like really cool to see.
Yeah.
And we would try to do it on our own. I think Wesley did it. He was like always the best at, saving the princess
Right.
and everything else. And so um we just I don't know, that's like a standout moment for me.
Yeah. And like, I don't think I know anyone, and you may be the exception to this.
Mhm.
I've never done it, and I don't know anyone who has ever played from World 1-1 to like 8-4 and rescued the princess, the real princess. I don't think I know anyone who's ever played every level of Mario and beat it in one run through.
Um
Like,
I
I've
I
never done
have
it.
I have done it, and multiple of my cousins have done it. That was like a
Really?
challenge because I cannot stress how much we played this game. And
Okay.
it's a very close-knit family. Like we would get
Yeah.
together a lot through the year. And so like and that would be kind of like that added challenge. It's like, "Oh, you saved the princess, but like can you do it all, or like how far can you get
Uh
before
huh.
you die," kind of thing. And and two, that's the only NES game my grandmother had, which is also worth
Right.
mentioning. So it was like that's the only video game that was at her house.
Yeah.
And so we would set up all these kind of challenges. But yeah, I've done it. I've only actually like saved the princess probably like less than a handful of times,
Yeah. The
because a
game
lot of
is
times
hard. It's genuinely tough to get through,
it's tough, but also a lot of times we would play it two player because you're always playing with like a
and the other
cousin or like
person
my
runs you
little
out of lives.
brother, and the other person dies, yeah, and or whatever happens, and it's just like it's not as fun once that person is dead, and then you're like playing through it. It's like, oh well, and
Yep.
so like I wouldn't say I played this primarily like single player by any
Yeah. Yeah.
means, but there would be times. But yeah, I can I remember like the first time I ever played it all the way through, and I got to
Mhm.
8-3 and died. And
Oh.
yeah, and that was the first time. And then I can remember like my cousin Jaden, who lives down here near me now.
Yeah.
Like he's talked about the first and only time he ever saved the princess on Grandmama's NES. Like that's like his most memorable video game
Wow.
moment ever, because he was like he realized he was finally like old enough and like good enough of a gamer to have
Right.
like saved the princess.
Uh
And
huh.
he's probably like 10, 11 years old, but
Right.
he's talked about that moment a lot, and I wasn't even there for it, but I've heard him talk about it, where it just really is like has been such a rite of passage like for my
Yeah.
family that that's like the thing is it's like some families have like quinceañeras or like
Uh,
bat mitzvahs, and it's like we have Saving the Princess and Super Mario Brothers. Like if you do
as
that, you're an adult now.
yeah, like that's when you actually pass through into like your family respecting you as a person and seeing you not as a little kid anymore. Like I love that. Like that's and the game was so and it still is so perfect. I mean,
It's,
you go
it's, it's
back
really
and
good. Yeah.
still play it. Like I have on my desk right now the Game and Watch of Super Mario Brothers that I keep on my desk. I don't know, there you can see the screen a little bit better.
Yeah.
Like Jennifer got me this years ago and I still keep it on my desk to play whenever I want to. Like you got me the Zelda one that I have over there.
Hmm.
And this one I keep on my desk. Oh man, the
It's
battery
low
is
battery.
dead. Yeah, it's like I gotta plug that in again. Um, but yeah, the like it's just a fun game to play, even 50 years later. Like not 50, I'm not that old. Even 40 years later.
It's yeah,
Like it
40.
was 80, 80, 85, 41 now. So I was like, I'm not 50 years old yet. I'm
It's
close.
It is really fun, and it's something that you mentioned earlier too. It's really hard. Like I had not played whenever my grandmother sold her house. My oldest cousin Wesley got the NES and everything.
Oh,
It
okay,
it
okay,
had
okay,
not really
okay.
it was not working so well by then, which is still impressive because I mean this would have been like 2016 probably
Uh-huh.
2017, and so I mean it was old, but
Yeah.
it was still working part of the time, and he took it to try to fix it, and it was
Yeah.
like his favorite thing in the world. Um so he took it, but so I hadn't played it in a long time, and I played it I guess when it came out on NSO. I played it at
Okay.
some point, and it was like way harder than I remember. Like I used to, as a
Yes.
kid, like you play it so much, like I would breeze through that game and I would like boom, boom, boom,
Boom, boom, boom, boom,
jumping
boom,
over
boom, boom, boom.
everything. Like, it was like I was playing it like it was a Sonic game, I'm just like blowing
Yeah.
through everything.
Holding
And I
the B
tried
button
it.
the entire time, jumping and
Yeah, and I tried it again after not having touched it in like 5 or 6 years. And, I died on like the first level. And I was like, oh, like get your head in the game, Austin.
yeah.
Like you
It's like
gotta at
what's
least
wrong
make it
with
through.
you?
Yeah, exactly. Because in my brain, like it was like you shoot through the first level, like it's a
Yeah,
gimme,
like
And then I died, and I was like, man, like this is way harder than I remember. And but it is a fun game, and it's a good game, and I'm still really nostalgic. We went earlier this week on Tuesday. We took the kids to go see the new Mario movie,
okay. I'm waiting on streaming to see
and
it. It's one that I don't think we're gonna see in the theater. So I'm curious. I haven't heard how it is, other than it's a Mario movie. So I'm curious on what you think about it.
save your money. I'll rant about the movie here in a second, but to my point, when we got out of the movie theater, Grace, my wife, she was like, "Man, there was so much music in there that I am like so nostalgic for." And I was like, "Yeah, same. Like there's like from
Right.
various Mario games, but one that really got me is at one point in the movie, they go into like kind of an underground area, and it looks like the 1-2 level of Mario, and it's
Right.
playing the like do do do
No,
do
no,
do
no, no,
do
no, no.
no, 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 no,
No,
no,
no,
no.
no, no.
And
Yep.
there's like signs along the wall, the like industrial looking signs, and one of them is 1-2 up in the corner. And I was
Of
like,
course.
huh, I see what you did there. Um, the movie itself, yeah, save your money. Anybody else listening, save your money. I knew the reviews for this one were not very kind,
Mm.
but they were pretty mixed to negative the first time around too. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I enjoyed the first one. I was like, it's not like a masterpiece, but it's
Right.
fun. This second one is it's not bad in the way that like Rise of Skywalker is bad, but
Okay.
it shares the same problem that movie has, where it takes 0 moments to breathe and is just like bum
Oh.
bum bum, and it's so busy trying to distract you with stuff because at the end of the day there's not really a plot, and it's kind of a garbage movie. but it's trying to like distract you by being like, look at this, look at this, look at this, because it knows if it slows down, like the audience is gonna have a moment to think like, I don't know how this is.
Right.
It is, take this how you will, okay? I've sat through a lot of movies that
And a
are
lot of
not
kids'
good,
movies
and a
and a
lot of
lot of
kids.
movies that you don't necessarily think are going to be high cinema.
Yeah, this is the first movie ever that I've taken out my phone to see what time it was, and I did it twice. First movie
Wow.
ever, kids movies or otherwise. First movie ever in my life. I've checked the time twice. I told Carrie, our friend Carrie,
Uh-huh.
I work with her too, and we were talking about it, and she was like, "I'm going to see it this weekend. Is it bad?" And I put it to her this way: like, if you had told me that I died and gone to purgatory, I would believe you. Like, it literally felt like time was standing still. Like, there were times when I was just like I was like, oh man, this movie's got to be winding down. And I would look and it had been 5 minutes, and I was like, what? Like, how
Oh
did no
man.
time pass? And like even my children, who are arguably the target audience, I don't know, given how many like Easter eggs they like smushed into this thing, they
Right.
may not have been the target audience. But even my kids were like when we got out of it, we're like talking about how they didn't like Nora straight right away as soon as we got out and you could like talk, Nora was like, I did not like that. And and and
I can
Rowan
hear her doing that too. Like I love Nora, and like just as soon as you get out, like I know I can just straight up hear her doing it.
and she's 8. And Rowan, who is also 8, like had to put it a good way. She was like, that movie was just too bam bam bam. And I was like, yeah. I was like, that's exactly what it was. It
Yeah.
was too bam bam bam. And like Naomi liked it. She said she liked the second one better, but she also, I
Oh.
think, succumbs to the whole like spectacle of it all,
Oh
like
right.
like it's new and flashy, and so she's like, "Oh
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's my favorite."
Which I
And I
get.
don't know if her opinion will change. I don't think it's despite all of this, wouldn't say it's a bad movie, but it's just a big nothing of a movie. Like, I
Mm.
don't care if I ever see it again. It felt like, nothing really went everywhere. It's not as funny as the first one.
Okay.
It does pretty much have a non-existent story. Every time there's like an ounce of like character development that you think
Right.
is going to happen, it like quickly pivots somewhere else. It's very much a product of like a generation that has spent time mindlessly watching 10-second TikTok videos where it feels like it has to distract you constantly, or else you're gonna like look away from it.
Right.
And it's really hard to watch. It's an Illumination movie, so I wasn't expecting anything because
Yeah.
Illumination movies suck.
Which is
Apologies to
why
anybody who likes Minions. I don't get it, but like Illumination movies are terrible.
I got into it with my gaming group, my in-person D&D group on Tuesday. They were talking about going and seeing this, and I talked about it and how I didn't like Illumination and DreamWorks movies, and that I'd never seen any of the Despicable Me or Minions movies, and they could not believe me as a human being that I didn't like them and found them annoying.
Yeah, it's there. I wholly agree with you. Like, the only Illumination movie that I've ever enjoyed is the one that nobody watched. It's called Migration. It's about
Oh,
like
I didn't
these
see it. It looked
migrating
awful.
ducks. It's actually good. Like, the animation is good, and the animation was good in this. But like in terms of like that kind of like Illumination sense of humor, which
Yeah.
is very like fleeting and cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought Migration actually had like heart to it, and it wasn't just
Mm.
going for like cheap laughs or anything. It was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's the one that like bombs and nobody watches, so they're like,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna make Minions 16 now. Um, but yeah, anyway, so Super Mario movie, I don't think it's very good, um, but yeah, the actual like Mario game, it was cool because we got out of the theater, and I don't think it had its intended effect, because when we got out, I was like, hey, we have Mario Galaxy on Switch, like
Right.
you guys want to play it? And like even the kids, I think it like killed their. I think they're all like, we've had enough of Mario for a while, so
Oh
I don't think I
man.
don't think it has the intended effect Nintendo was going for, but.
Ah,
Um,
that hurts me a little bit actually.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like with the first Mario game, kind of going back to the games more. It's like the first one is always going to be so important to me because it's the first video game I ever played,
Right.
and it was such a big part of my mom's side of the family.
Right.
But like at the end of the day, it's like if I'm playing a Mario game, like I'm playing Super Mario Brothers 3. That
Right.
was easily my most played game on Super Nintendo. I mean, I love Mario Brothers 3.
So wait,
Um,
wait, 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 wait. Mario Brothers 3 came out on the NES. Were you talking about the like one on Mario All Stars?
the one on Mario All Stars, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I played that all day, every day. Also Super Mario World 2, the one with Baby Mario where you're playing
Yeah.
around as
With
Yoshi.
Yoshi. Yeah, Yoshi's
Like,
Island is friggin' fantastic.
yeah,
It's one of
like
the best games ever made.
that has like cemented my love of Yoshi for like ever. Like I buy every
Yeah.
Yoshi game. Like I can't wait for the new Yoshi game to come out next month. Like I love Yoshi games. And so like in terms of like that, like Super Mario Brothers is not that kind of game for me. Like now as an
Right.
adult, it's not the kind of game that I'm gonna sit down and play on my own the way I
Hmm.
would like Donkey Kong Country 2 or Yoshi's Island or
Right.
Mario Brothers 3. But it is one of those games that like if you if you were like doing like what do you call it where like you say a word and word
It's like word
association.
association stuff.
Yeah, like if you were to say video game to me, even to this day, like Super Mario Brothers might be the first thing that I think
Oh
of.
yeah.
I mean, I would call it Mario because that's what we grew up
Mario.
calling it. Like
Yeah.
nobody called it Super Mario Brothers. You were like
No.
Mario.
It was
But
Mario and then Mario World and Mario 3. Yeah.
but that's like what I called it. I do want to say though, keep in mind we were children.
Mhm.
We had this theory, okay? Like I don't know what it is about being a kid that makes you like come up with things,
Yeah,
right?
but you
Or
do.
even an adult. Let's be honest. But for some reason, like your mind wants to connect dots and come up with
Uh-huh.
theories, right? So we had this theory growing up that if you jumped when Mario jumped, you were more likely to clear your jump,
Oh
right?
my goodness.
And so, and we passed this on to our younger cousins. So like all of us thought like until we got older I guess but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all of us thought this was real and we wouldn't play Mario sitting down. None of us played Mario sitting down. When I'm telling these stories, we were all standing up, usually two players, so side by side,
Right.
holding our controllers. And
Hopping up and down.
not all the time, but if there was like how there's some of those jumps where you have to be running and you have to time it just right,
Just
get on
right.
just the
Yep.
tip in order to clear it. Those we would jump, and I can remember like the brung, like noise that he makes when like we would jump with that like controller and all,
Right.
thinking that like that would get it. And it's a wonder that like none of us ever yanked out like the controller or
Yeah.
like dragged the NES off the entertainment center, but for
Right.
whatever reason we did not. But yeah, this was like a thing that we just
Right.
that we my it started with my cousin Wesley, who was the oldest.
Right.
And I guess that's why we all just believed it, because he was the oldest, so he had like those like kid truths where
Uh-huh.
it's like, and you're like, oh, like
Okay.
he says all this with like sage wisdom,
Yeah,
and
he
you just
says
kind of
it
nod along
straight
like yeah.
faced and like, yeah, this without
And I mean, he
any
believed
kind
it.
of
Like he wasn't messing with us.
yeah.
He's 10 months older than me, so I mean, he
Okay,
really
so
believed this too. He
it wasn't
wasn't
like he was
like just
17
messing
years
with me.
old just trying to mess with the
Right.
kids.
Right, yeah, like he believed it himself and it jumped, himself. And I
Uh
think he came up with the theory because at some point he decided I'm gonna jump when Mario does, and he did it. And he was like, "Hey, I think it
and
like
made the jump.
made the
So
jump because I jumped too." And so, no understanding. We had no understanding of technology back then, and so it
right.
was just
No,
kind of
no,
like
nobody.
it was like, yeah, video games are magic, and so why not when you jump? Like, that's what
I mean, to
happens.
be fair, video games are still magic, and I don't like after trying to make a couple of doing things and learning how different engines, I'm like, they're still magic. Like doing
Video
that.
games is magic. Video
Um,
games is
this is
magic.
magic.
Yeah.
And like you going back to the music for just a second, like it's so perfect
Mhm.
that to this day, like we make up songs about our animals all the time, like most people do.
Mhm.
And as we're going around the days, it's generally Mario level 1, 2, and we'll use our animals' names in it and go Bella, 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 doggy, 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 epi, 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 ep, 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 dog, 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 dog. Like we will do this all day long. Like as we walk into a room and we see them, we're like epi, epi, epi. It's like it is so ingrained in us as just the bass song, like that plays and narrates, not narrates our lives, but scores our lives. Like
That was that song from 1-2 is actually when I was learning how to play guitar as like a
right.
young teenager. That's how I taught myself like how to finger the frets the correct way is
Oh
because I would
yeah,
do the do 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 do, and then it was always trip me up whenever it's like the do 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 do,
yeah,
like part at the end you have to do it really fast, and I would just sit there for like hours trying to like figure out how to do it because a friend of mine
yeah,
showed me how to do like the bass like do, but then as you're like learning to play, and I play mostly by ear, so like as you're doing that, like I was trying to teach myself what was basically scales, but I didn't know the term for it yet.
right.
But with that, by figuring out like, okay, but now it like goes up. So like
Okay.
so like where do I go with that? And I would sit there and figure it out when I
With
was probably
that
like
song,
14. Yeah, when I was like first really starting to try to like earnestly play the guitar,
yeah,
and it was the 1-2 song. Yeah.
that's fantastic. Like it is one of the most iconic sounds in video games. Like songs, like scores, and that I can think of. Like the only thing else that I really think of it hits that level for me is Final Fantasy, especially after seeing the Distant Worlds concert.
Hmm.
Like I want to see a Mario concert like that, that
Hmm.
with all the different kinds of music they've done over the years, because Final Fantasy Distant Worlds was an absolute just treasure to have been able to experience. So like the movies, that is one of the things I like about movies like this that I liked about the first one was the music and the sounds. Like
The
it's
sound
so
effects.
much
Yep.
of the sound effects just hit in those movies.
Yeah, I mean, you can like hear those sound effects in your sleep. They're like "Wah,
Yep.
wah, wah, wah," and
Yep.
stuff like that. And like you can just like there's so many of those sounds
Uh-huh.
that like from either getting big or even more so like getting back
Getting
small
hit.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I can just like there's so many of those noises, that you could just like you could put me in a medically induced coma and I would still be able to hear them.
Still be
Like
hearing them. Yep.
yeah, because I mean, and it is one of those things that like I think I said that it was probably like 2016 when I quit playing on that NES, but
Yeah.
that's like a good 26
Uh-huh.
years or more of like playing that game. And it's just like, I don't know, it's not some, like, I think, especially like when you're a kid and you have that like ingrained in your brain,
Uh-huh.
it just like doesn't go the same thing that with like, we were talking about Pokemon last week.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the same way that like I can I can forget something that happened last week, right? But
Yeah.
if you're like, hey, tell me what the Gen 1 starters are, I'm like
Yeah.
Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Charmander. It's just like something we know
Like
without even really like thinking about
yep.
it.
Never be able to forget it. Like even I get the worst case of dementia that I can think of, and those kind of things are going to be embedded as core information in my brain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be standing up doing this and jumping, and people are going to be like, Austin, what are you doing? When I have
And you're like,
dementia, I mean, and I'm just like, I'm playing Mario.
play Mario, like
you
of
know?
course, like
And
it's
they're just like, oh,
obvious you're jumping.
and it's like, okay, Grandpa, we're at Burger King. But yeah, I mean,
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
yeah, but I mean, it is one of those things where it's like, yeah,
But
it's always gonna be with me
yeah,
forever
it
for
will
sure.
always be there. And it makes me, now that I've got this like beside me, it hasn't been charged for a little bit. I'm going to go through the second Mario game, the Lost Levels, that's on the Game and Watch, and I'm gonna start playing it.
You should do the first game and try to do it all through from 1-1 to 8-4.
There's no way. Like I don't think I could at this point. I don't think I have the I'm still very good at platformers. Like that's one thing. Jennifer and I will play games, and she loves platformers. And whenever she gets to a part that she can't do, she'll just hand me the controller, and I can like 9 times out of 10 do it on the first try. So I
Hmm.
think I probably could do the Mario thing. I just haven't put the time into it. But yeah, I
Okay.
should do that sometime.
Um, anyway, we're almost out of time for today.
Yep.
So thank you guys for listening. Share your own thoughts with Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt
Yep.
with us because we'd love to hear from you. You can do that on YouTube at youtube.com/at DQFM. You can do that on Spotify. Leave a comment. You can also do that on Blue Sky and Twitter. We're at those places at Dragon Quest FM. And if you want to just talk to me personally, you can do that at Blue Sky at Dragon Quaston.
And you can find me on Blue Sky at bjkgames.com and Instagram at bjk.games. And you can also find the podcast on Patreon at patreon.com/DragonQuestFM if you'd like to support us that way too.
Thanks, everybody, and we'll see y'all next week.
Bye, everybody. Dun it, dun it, dun it.